northern Ukraine and Kyiv. Of course, the sinking of their battleship in the middle of the Black Sea. They're not going to stop until they get something serious in terms of territory or whatever they're trying to seek. And of course, the Ukrainians are trying to defend their land. And I think, as some of the people in your report show, they're going to be determined to resist the onslaught that is about to come. It's going to get very ugly, very significant fighting is to be expected, but neither side is going to be willing to settle for anything less than fighting for now.
So, where do we go from here? And how concerned are you, perhaps, about the fact that this is going to escalate? We've heard from President Putin already that, he is suggesting the threat of nuclear escalation. Do you believe him when he says that?
Well, it's very hard to believe anything that Vladimir Putin says, but I think the reality is he has nuclear weapons, and although the use of nuclear weapons anytime in the next few days or months would be the first time since August 9, 1945 that a nuclear weapon has been used, we cannot rule it out. And I think the NATO countries are thinking about what kind of response they might need to launch in that case. A nuclear attack, or just even a single nuclear weapon, is fundamentally going to change the nature of this conflict. If the conflict today is about territory, about who controls what part of territory, or indeed who controls Ukraine, once a nuclear weapon is used, the conflict shifts to global security and global concerns. And it won't be possible, it seems to me, for countries like the United States or the United Kingdom to say, this fight's really for the Ukrainians to fight, and we're going to stay out. I think at some point an escalation is more likely by having a more direct involvement by NATO forces to make sure that Vladimir Putin does not succeed in whatever he's trying to achieve.
So you see that as a distinct possibility then, Ivo, in terms of where the conflict, the escalation goes from here. NATO will eventually have to get involved.
Well, I think if chemical weapons in large numbers were to be used, or a nuclear weapon would be used, then the calculation changes. I think up till now, NATO countries have rightly said that this is a fight that they are willing to help Ukraine defend itself, and therefore major weapon systems are being shipped out now into Ukraine. There is an expectation that the Ukrainians have the morale on their side. They have, to some extent, at least until now, the terrain on their side, and that they will be able to resist. But if a nuclear weapon gets used, again, the first time in over 80 years that would happen, that just changes fundamentally what we're dealing with. We're no longer dealing with a conflict that is confined to territory. It's a conflict that affects all of our security, and in that case, intervention is possible. I think because of that, it's less likely that Vladimir Putin would actually use a nuclear weapon, because the last thing he needs now, given how bad his forces are already faring in this fight, is to have the United States and other allies intervene as well.
That was Ivo Daalder there speaking to me a little earlier.